What is going on, YouTube? In this video, we are going to talk about how to make money during the bear market. Because I can tell you, we are in a bear market, right? So what do, right? Do you crap your pants, get emotional, and sell everything? Or do you actually think logically about, hey, what is the best thing I can do given the probabilities of what is likely to happen, right? Most people, they don't they don't realize that the crypto game is a probability game. They look back on things and just financial markets in general, and then they think, oh man, I should have done this, and then that influences their decision in the future, and they end up losing a lot of their money because they think like that. Thanks for everyone hopping on. If you guys are on here, it says, oh, now we got 6 viewers. It says 0. Let me know where you guys are watching from this evening. I would appreciate engaging with you guys a little bit, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit towards the end of this video. Let's go ahead and jump in. Once I see a few cities and states, we're going to jump in. So where are you guys from? I'll start it off. My name is Jeff, 0% credit crypto seconds, and I'm from Miami, Florida. Actually, I'm from Columbus, Ohio, but now living in Miami, Florida. We got Mexico, Miami. No is from Miami. You should change your name to Yes Yes. Miami, Jack, that's awesome. Nice to see you here again. San Diego, that's great. Yeah, nice to see you, Steven. Cool, guys. Let's go ahead and jump in at Minnesota. We got Paul here. I've been shooting a lot of content on a lot of meetings, so I decided, you know what, why not just overdo it tonight and just punch myself in the face by getting on a YouTube live. So that's what we're doing. Whenever there are, I like to full send things, so might as well just finish out the day strong. So Bitcoin has obviously gotten crushed. We're in a consolidation zone and have been there since May 19th after a big drop. We actually had a wick come lower. We actually had it right around the same volume this day. It was actually in the morning. I remember when it was at 28,000. The market has just been behaving very, very weird recently. No one honestly knows. If someone knew what was going to happen, they would be the richest person on earth. No one knows. Again, this is a game of probabilities. To give you guys an overall sentiment, I do feel bearish about the market. I wouldn't be surprised if we jumped off this ladder and headed lower, but that's not the discussion of this video. The discussion is going to be, okay, how can you make money even if we stay at a standstill here or we continue lower? Usually when the volatility of the upside and downside slows and you start to head into a consolidation zone like we are here and the wicks get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, that usually means something is going to break out to the upside or the downside here shortly. One thing I want to bring to people's attention is you keep hearing this on, pretty much every social platform that, hey, the bull market is not over because we did not have a blow off top like the previous one. So first of all, let me just actually put this into let me make sure we're not in a log. Okay, I think we're okay. So this is the current bull market, but let's go back to 17. You know what? Why are we in a 4-hour chart right now? So as you can see in 17, right, we had a complete blow off top, like where we had massive growth and then we came down and crashed really hard. So everyone else is looking at the market right now and saying, okay, well, we didn't really have that, which look how minuscule 17 looks to where we're at now. But we didn't really have that, right? Because we came up and we had just pretty much like a head and shoulders pattern, and then we came back down. And it was kind of just like a little oval at the top instead of like massive growth and a large wick downwards, right? So everyone's saying, hey, well, this is not the end of the bull market, which there's a few things that could play out, which we can go to here in a second. But I think what's important to notice is, and everyone says that, the market is not, to not be like too far out of, what has happened previously. What has changed, though, which a lot of people are not really noting, is the dominance of Bitcoin. So the overall market is completely changing. This is Bitcoin dominance, right? So this is how much Bitcoin has in the total market cap. So let's just look at the total market cap right now. We're at 1.3 trillion, right? Bitcoin has 606 billion, right? So that means that its dominance right now is at 44%. Okay, but look what it used to be in 17, right? We were just looking at that chart previously in 17. Look how high it used to be. It used to be 95%. Okay, and then in February of 17, it started coming down hard, right? Because people started buying Ripple, they started buying Ethereum. A lot of people were buying Tron. They were buying all these different projects that came out, and that brought the dominance of the market down, right? So it brought it all the way down to 35%. Then it started to come back up, right, up to 73%, and now we are heading back down. We came back down this market cycle down to 39. I thought it was going to head even lower, but we came at a low of 39. Now we're sitting at 46, like I mentioned earlier. Depends where you're scooping the data from. So what has happened now is, since the previous all-time high, we have not had a market where Bitcoin has not absolutely dominated everything. So I think what's important is to also look at let's look at the total market cap, and let's judge the market instead of the market being on Bitcoin, which this will change, right? As things mature and things change in the market, the quote unquote market is going to change. So how you actually gauge the market will also change. So if you look at this chart, which is the total market cap excluding Bitcoin, we did have much closer to a blow off top than we did with Bitcoin, right? I mean, look at Bitcoin. You see it's very rounded, right? We had like 3 small peaks before a lower high. So we had higher highs, higher high, lower high, and then a complete drop where we came down 55% from the all-time high, right? With this, and we're looking at everything excluding Bitcoin, so the total market cap excluding Bitcoin, we had more of a blow off top, right? We had, honestly, really one peak. There wasn't a delayed time frame between the peaks within the higher high, and then higher or lower high. So if you're looking at it from the market, it does look like we technically did have like a blow off top, right? Just in the total market cap excluding Bitcoin. But again, looking at Bitcoin, it doesn't really look like it. That's why everyone's saying, okay, it didn't actually abide by the halving cycle, right? So we ended early, and then also we didn't have a blow off top. So I actually think that we're gonna just have a V-shaped recovery and bounce. That's absolutely not what has happened. As I mentioned, I think it's going to be more like a extended time frame where I think we're in like 2.5 months in. I guess I guess we're just 2 months in. So if we look at when has this happened previously, let's see. I think you have to go to like BTC Liquid, I believe, to actually look way back. You know what? I have another place we're going to look at it anyways. Here it is. Pretty sure this is it. Let's see. So if we go back to 13. Nope, it is not going to go back to 13. Cool. We'll go here. What I am talking about is this chart. So you see in 13, when this happened, right? A lot of people think this is happening right now. But here's the thing, is the market cap, Bitcoin was $152, right? So like, what do you think the market cap was? It was much, much lower than what it is now. But anyways, we had this similar thing happen. During the bull market, we had a massive growth. Then we had a drastic drop. I believe it was What was it? Okay. So we had Bitcoin go from 213 all the way down to $65. So even a larger drop than what we just had by about 20%, and then it consolidated for about 6 months, and then after 6 months, then we had another massive wave up where we had a blow off top, and that was the actually end of the bull market. So a lot of people are asking, okay, well, is that going to happen again? And time will tell. What I can tell you is so these colors over here is the percentage monthly increase of the 200-week moving average. So when historically, right, when we head into a darker color on this chart over here, that has been a better and better time to buy. What has never happened before is we've never gone into dark blue during a bull market. And that just shows really like slower growth within Bitcoin. And I think that's really happening because of the market cap is getting pretty high now, guys. I mean, we reached over $1 trillion. And here's another thing to note is the total market cap. It took 10 years to get to $1 trillion market cap. And then after the 10 years, it took 3 months to go from 1 trillion to 2 trillion. So we had like ridiculous growth within crypto. We doubled the entire market cap in literally a quarter. And we went to an all-time high of like 2.45 trillion, right? So we had a lot of growth. But historically, at least for Bitcoin, when we do head into these darker colors, that is a better time to buy. So there's a few things that I will give you that I think will help in actually making money during the bull market. Overall, we're in a big consolidation zone. Market looks pretty healthy. If you look at longs versus shorts, I mean, it's pretty even, right? The reason why we had such a dramatic drop, which everyone's asking why, it's mainly because we were way over leveraged, right? There was way too many longs in the market. And then number two, I honestly think it's manipulation from elitist big banks, large corporations looking around, seeing Bitcoin go up 650% in 7 months and saying, wow, crypto is here to stay. It is a big deal. Blockchain is not leaving. They're starting to make the connection between how cryptocurrency actually fuels blockchain. And they realize the value of crypto, and they're looking around saying, we're printing all this money. You know, we've been on a 12-year bull market in the stock market. Where can I start to store some of my wealth? And, you know, they missed the boat, right? And now and what you need to understand is, crypto is so small. It's so little. It's so new. Like you guys got to give it time, right? Like financial markets are just places to pass wealth from the impatient to the patient, right? Like Warren Buffett has famously said. It's so true. When you are impatient with any type of investment, you're likely to pass money, especially in the secondary market. You're very likely to pass your money and your wealth to people that are actually patient. So if you're investing into crypto, number one, you should not be investing things you can't afford to lose, or you shouldn't be investing with a very short time horizon. And the reason is because the market is insanely volatile. I mean, if you look at like the growth, it has just been, I mean, so we had a 56% drop in 11 days and 8 hours. So if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. All right, right? Like there's no way to have 650% increase in 7 months without like volatility to the downside. Nothing ever goes exponentially up for forever, right? So you got to realize you're going to have times where you're way down, but you just need to be patient. And I'm about to give you a few things that you can do to not lose all the money. So number one is patience. Number two is having the perspective that I just talked about. This is a long-term game. It's a new asset. Realize that, wow, let's look at the market cap. The market cap is $1.3 trillion. There's multiple companies inside the United States alone that are worth more than the entire asset class of cryptocurrency. Okay, so if this market wants to get manipulated, and like I've previously stated, There's asset managers with over $8 trillion that are public about it, and there's a lot of private ones abroad that have trillions and trillions of dollars under management, that if they want to move a little baby market, if they want to move a little baby like Bitcoin, that, by the way, is unregulated, is traded 24 hours a day, and they can completely manipulate it because of how much assets they have relative to how big the market cap is. Well, that is a big issue, right? For people that are emotional and have a short-term mindset. If you have a long-term mindset, you don't use too much leverage, use proper portfolio allocation, you're going to be fine. And if you do the few things I'm going to mention here in a second, you will be fine. Another problem with actually crypto here is too, and I'll mention this is actually kind of a big issue which we don't see in other markets. And the reason why everything is so correlated to Bitcoin, which I do think it may be changing, is because there's so many pairs within crypto. So if you go to an exchange, like on Binance or whatever exchange you want to use, a lot of times they will denominate it in USD. Actually, Binance used to not do this. It used to be like an exchange that would not, it wouldn't even show you your assets in USD terms. It only showed it in Bitcoin terms, if you guys remember that from 17 and before. But with Bitcoin, there's a lot of pairs that are denominated in Bitcoin. So you can trade Ethereum against Bitcoin, you can trade Binance Coin against Bitcoin, you can trade ADA against Bitcoin. And the problem is when they're denominated in Bitcoin, it pulls all the other markets down because there's so many pairs that are then tied to Bitcoin. We don't see that in other financial markets, right? We don't see Amazon being denominated by Tesla. You see what I'm saying? So that's why when we see when Tesla goes down, we don't directly see that happen with Amazon, right? Or if they're completely different stocks, that's even kind of a bad, because they're somewhat in the same niche, you would say. But you get the point, right? The stocks are not trading like pairs. Other assets are not trading like the pairs that we have. I'm saying it's a bad thing for people that don't understand the market, and it's also harder for these other cryptocurrencies to get away from Bitcoin. There's a few actually. Before they actually, if they're just put on DEXs, they don't have the same effect as that. When they start to go on exchanges where there's a lot of leverage and they're denominated with those pairs, it can become a big problem. So that's another thing I see as things start to mature. I could see the market starting to be a little bit different and not being pulled down so heavily by Bitcoin. Let's say Bitcoin just turns into stardust and it becomes nothing, right? I do see other cryptocurrencies starting to separate from it and having less of a correlated volatility with it. So we'll see if that happens. That is one thing that is unique to crypto. That is a pro and a con. It just kind of depends how you look at it. But it's been very interesting to see how that has played out. So a few things that you can do here. Let me make sure that I don't punch myself in the head here. Yep. Oh, just kidding. Peekaboo. Few things you guys can do. So number one, you can turn down the light so it doesn't look like my face is distorted. Number two, you can earn interest, right? So if you're holding assets, actually before this one, I'll even talk about another one, which is buy utility. So during a bear market, what goes down the most are things with no utility and no value, right? That's why you see meme coins absolutely get slaughtered, right? Because they don't really have a utility besides people pumping them. So what's really wise is to start looking at your portfolio and saying, okay, well, what is actually being put to use or is really soon to be putting to use that has real utility, right? The reason why crypto has value, which a lot of people don't understand, is a lot of these cryptocurrencies, if they're actually coins, they have their own blockchain. And within their own blockchain, they're looking to do things. One of the best comparisons to make is comparing Ethereum to Amazon. Okay, Amazon has something called Amazon Web Services, AWS. Well, what does Amazon Web Services do? Well, they run web services for other companies. So other companies like to lease, use data and run their data servers on AWS, right? Similar to Ethereum, right? Other projects are building their projects, their tokens on top of the Ethereum blockchain and the mainnet, right? So it's a very similar comparison, right? That's just one example, right? And that's why Ethereum has value, because when other projects build on top of Ethereum, they build this ecosystem. And these other projects have specific things that they do, right? Like VeChain. VeChain is looking to track, data for logistics companies. That's what blockchain does. It's an open ledger. It's essentially an open accounting book, right? Just like this. It just records data, right? And it's not your mom. It's not Uncle Bill, and it is not Donald Trump recording the data. It is it's in the code, right? So it's completely unhackable. It's unbiased, and it records it in real time. That's why blockchain is so valuable, is because of the use of data, and cryptocurrency powers the blockchain. So when there's transactions that go through the blockchain, okay, there's currencies that power those, and they that's how they pay for fees. So that coin or the token is its own native currency to that blockchain, right? So that blockchain uses that native token or coin, and that's what makes the coin or the token valuable. So look for projects that have real utility. If you don't know, number one, you could join our Inner Circle group, right? We have about, I think 500 and something members in the group, and we're actually doing a live tomorrow to discuss portfolio allocation, but I go over everything that I am allocated. Or number two, you can do your own research. Or number three, you can start to just stick to like the top 10 by the market cap, right? Most of these have a lot of utility relative to other crypto projects, and they do because they have a larger market cap. They wouldn't have this much capital in them if they didn't have some utility, right? So that's another way that you can look at it. So number one is look at your portfolio. What am I holding, and how can I start to reallocate things that have actual real utility? Okay. Number two, you can start to, maybe you look around and you say, wow, I have some crap utility in my portfolio. Let me start to reallocate this and put this into stable coins. So you can start to get out of some crap coins and into some coins with utility, or you can go straight into stable coins. Then you can store your stable coins and utility coins on platforms that actually earn interest. But realize that a hedge against the bear market, so a hedge against, this happening, right? If we see another larger drop and we head lower, a hedge against that is buying utility, because they're going to be less volatile to the downside because they have value in them. A lot of people are staking them. A lot of people believe in them. Or you can liquidate some of your crap coins and start to hold stable coins. Holding cash is a way to hedge against a bear market. So you can increase your cash position in your portfolio to help hedge against the downside. Okay. I'm going to give you two more things, and then we will likely hop off here. Number three is earn interest. So, one of the best platforms now is Voyager. So if you go to, I think it's investvoyager.com or something like that. Anyways, they have an app. You can earn, I think it's 5.25% on your Bitcoin. If you hold more than 20,000 VGX, which is their native coin, you can get a 1% boost. So it's 6.25% on your Bitcoin, and they have that's just one. Okay. They also have like their stable coins, you earn 8% interest, right? And then Cardano, it's like 3%, and Ethereum's like 5.25, I believe. Either way, they have the best rates out of any other lender right now, and they will until the end of the year. So they just announced, I believe today, that they're going to keep the rates how they are until the end of the year. So you have an opportunity to earn some interest, and that is another great way to hedge, because what happens is you start to earn interest, right? And it's getting paid in kind, which means you're getting paid in the same coins that you're holding. right? So if you go hold, Bitcoin on the platform, you're being paid in Bitcoin. So now the Bitcoin is being paid in Bitcoin. Now you're starting to generate compound interest, and it grows and grows over time. And that's a way to hedge against the downside, because you're accumulating income that is then compounding and growing, right? So anything that's hedging against the downside, you need to be either staying stagnant or growing, and that is another way to do that. Let's kind of see. Let's see if they have like updated. So what? We're not in June, but yeah, okay. So I think they brought their USDC down to 9%. Bitcoin's at 6.25% actually, and then you would have a 1% boost on that. Ethereum's at 5.25. VGX at 7. Wow, I didn't know they were doing 7. Cardano's at 5.25. They may have lowered these slightly, to be honest, because these seem a little bit high. But then here's what I'm talking about. So if you hold 2,500, no way. At least 2,500 VGX. I thought it was 20,000. So they've brought that way down then. So that's very doable, because I think VGX is like a very inexpensive. Some other good ones, I hold some on like on Nexo, and then Celsius. I have a little bit on Celsius too. BlockFi is completely donezo. They made some mistakes and they had to cut their rates. Celsius, they're dropping too. Nexo has dropped slightly, but right now the winner overall is Voyager, and then the second in place is Nexo. Oh, and then here's another. Here is another solid one. Hodler, which I have not used this before, but you can earn 12.3% on your Tether right now. 12% on USDC, 12% on TrueUSD, which those are all stable coins, which means that they don't really have any volatility because they're tied 1-to-1, $1 US to one coin. So it's just a way to have more liquidity in crypto. So that's another decent place to go is Hodler, but again, I have not looked into them. I've literally just looked at their rates, which they are pretty good. But that's a great way to earn some interest. And then the last thing I will talk about here, like let's just go into my my boy ADA here. I don't really like to go. I like to use bigger exchanges, because here's the thing, guys. If you have really large exchanges or really small exchanges with not a lot of volatility, you can the price charge could be way different. Oh yeah, Cardano just got listed on Coinbase. I don't even want to look at it there. Okay, so one thing you can do is something called dun 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 dun. I'm just kidding. That is not what it's called. But if you guys can spell that in the chat, I will give you 18 zillion Dogecoin. So what it is you set up limit orders as the market's dropping, okay? So what a limit order is, you tell the market that, hey, I only want to buy ADA at $1.07. So if you only want to buy at $1.07, it'll only fill at $1.07. So you just go to an exchange, set limit buy, and you would buy you set a limit buy at 107. You set another limit buy at 84 cents. You set a limit buy at 61 cents, right? And then as the market drops, it starts to buy more and more and more of the asset. So now you're lowering your average purchase price as the market is dropping. And right, if you're investing into things with real utility that you think are going to go up over time, well, you just won, because if the market goes down, you won, right? You lowered your average purchase price. Then when the market starts to trend back upwards, you won, because guess what? The market's going up and you just made more money, right? So that is another thing that you can do. I consistently do that, and I am absolutely doing that right now. I have like 25 open limit orders right now, and I have shared all of those with our group. So if you want to know exactly what I'm buying and at what price points and what percentage of the cash that I have allocated towards buying, you can learn that in our group. There's a link down below this video to join us. Cool. That is one of the other things that I wanted to mention. But honestly, here's the thing: is none of this, all this doesn't even matter. All this, all that stuff I just talked about, if you don't actually have the proper mindset. If you don't have that perspective that I talked about earlier in this video, none of this matters, because you're not even going to do this. You're going to freak out if the market keeps dropping, and you're going to be outsy, and you're going to lose money, and then you're going to get hurt. Then you're going to buy the tops and sell the lows, and you're just going to continue losing. So make sure you got to adopt that mindset I talked about earlier, having that perspective and full sending. Okay. So I still actually, I'll answer like 2 questions, and then I do have to go because I have not done a few things. I've just been recording content and on meetings all day, so I have a few people I need to attend to. By the way, we have some really, really good videos coming out this week. If you guys are not subscribed, click the subscribe button. It is completely free, right? You might as well subscribe. I'm going to be pushing out some really, really valuable information. If you care about business, entrepreneurship, or crypto, you need to be subscribed to the channel. We have the next 2 videos are really solid. One is specifically about one cryptocurrency that goes up when the market goes down, and the other one is sharing with you exactly how I got to the place that I'm at in 3 short years, which is an incredible pivot from negative 82,000 net worth to multi-millionaire that is happy, right? So I can you'll hear my story in that video. Make sure to watch that video. Looks like we've got some scammers in here. BTC to Voyager. How many Voyager tokens? Yeah, so it looks like yeah, so that's the thing about, so David, I don't know that Celsius is Celsius really still 6.5%? That, if it is, that's great. That may be obviously, if you're not holding VGX, that's a little bit higher than Voyager, but the problem, at least for me, the problem is like Voyager does not have any limit to the amount of Bitcoin or crypto you're holding there. So you can hold, if you had hundreds of Bitcoin, you could be earning you could be earning a ton of interest, over 7% on your Bitcoin, on all 100 Bitcoin, like on BlockFi and Celsius and all that stuff, they cap you. Voyager, they don't, which, by the way, actually, I won't even mention that because that's kind of an inside thing at that company. So you're looking for Fibonacci. Yeah, Fibonacci. Yeah, the fibs are great too. That, and then I just look at I like to look at previous support and previous resistance as well when I'm setting these. But yeah, Fibonacci retracements are definitely solid as far as setting limit orders. And also, I think it's pretty weird that the market dropped on the Coinbase IPO. It's just like everything in 2021 has not made sense. If you were to invest into AMC, like, you would have made a crap ton of money, which is the complete opposite. If the market cap that it was at, they would have to have 100% capacity for the entire year, every single day. And every single customer would have to spend at least $100 on snacks in order to justify that valuation, which obviously would never happen. So pretty much everything in 2020 and 2021 did not make sense financially. And I'm not surprised that crypto is starting to play out that way either. June 28th is when the market is going to take off. It's already July though. July 28th. Okay, cool. Well, Michael, you should start an investment fund and raise trillions of dollars if you know exactly what's going to happen on what date. That would be awesome, though. Hex is the best appreciating asset 2020 and 2021. I mean, I think it is. I just shot a video about it, and we actually bought it the other day before it took off. I think I bought it around 9 cents, I believe. I don't like Tron. To be honest, I will never buy Tron again because I don't like the person behind it. I like to invest into people I really believe in. Right? I've found that to be more and more true. To be honest, every time I've made an investment, not every time, but a lot of the times when I've made an investment too quick and haven't looked at who is actually behind the project and who actually designed it, I've found that a lot of the times it's been things that I did no due diligence into, or we didn't even know who like the owners were, like when I like to look at project, like I like to look at the people, I like to look at the utility, and I like to look at the coin metrics to make a decision. And with that being said, I am going to go cuddle my teddy bear and speak to a few people. All right, thanks so much for hopping on, guys. Wait for those 2 videos this week. If you're not subscribed, make sure to hit subscribe. All right, I'm going to pump out a lot of content the rest of 2021, and a lot of it's really, really time sensitive. So be there.